I'm very happy and honored to be at the Asian Festival. It means a lot to me. I myself, I have a father who's a political refugee from Syria, and my mother is a Finnish immigrant. And the father of my children, he has Pakistani roots. So I'm very delighted to be here. I love Russian authors, but I also do have my favorite Asian authors. I love Murakami. I love Rumi, who was born in Afghanistan. I'm on the Sufi path, so I'm really inspired by Sufi poet and authors as Rumi and Ibn Arabi. I just got a present from a friend of mine. She did her PhD in Cambridge. She gave me The God of All Small Things by Arundhati Roy, and I'm about to read it now. I brought it with me here. Women Are the Future of Islam is my fourth book, and it's about Islamic feminism, and it's also about Islamic activism and the transition where you try to transfer your knowledge into action. And I think that in order to create change, we have to try to transfer our knowledge into action. So I'm an author, a sociologist of religion, but I'm also very much an activist. And the purpose of the book is to show how women all over the world are challenging the patriarchal structures within religious institutions. It's about a very specific activism which is rooted in Denmark. The Maria Mosque is rooted in Denmark, and we're trying to challenge the patriarchal structures by establishing a mosque with female imams who gives the sermon, leads the prayer, conducts Islamic marriages, divorces, and gives Islamic spiritual care. But I also want to put it into a larger context, as saying that female imams is definitely not a new phenomenon. We are not the pioneers in this. It's a part of our Islamic tradition, so it's actually not a reform. We are going back to the roots. At the time of the Prophet in Medina, at least 3 women were acting as female imams. That was Waraka, Aisha, and Salama. So I'm trying to show that it's a part of a larger tradition, that it's not something new. And we also have female imams in China since the 1820s, in Canada, US, in Germany. They have very active communities with female imams. In Switzerland and also in UK, you have the Inclusive Mosque Initiative with female imams. So it's a spreading phenomenon, and it's I think it's really important to acknowledge that women have always played a significant role when it comes to disseminating the Islamic message. Some of the greatest teachers in Islam, some of the greatest Sufis, they had female as their teachers. So that Islam is a suppressive religion. Islam is being translated and interpreted. So we have to understand that the discriminatory view upon women is a product of interpretation. And we are giving a rereading of the Quran with a focus on gender equality. And we are also trying to challenge the growing anti-Islamic rhetoric and propaganda, which is increasing all over Europe and in the rest of the world. And the best way to do that is actually to create new narratives and to disseminate new narratives on Islam in Europe. And this is what we're trying to do. So that's, I think that female imams is a greater threat to Islamophobes than Islamists are to them, because we are actually able to change the narrative. And it's very difficult to hold on to the misconception that Islam is a suppressive religion when they can see women taking the lead and disseminating a rereading of the Quran, which really focuses on gender equality. Besides the Maria Mosque, I have established the Exit Circle in 2014. It's self-help groups for girls and women, boys and men who are subjected to emotional abuse and mental violence and negative social control. And we have established 7 self-help groups in Denmark, and my aim is to transfer the concept to other countries. It's really a plague, and in everything that I do, both in the Maria Mosque and in the Exit Circle, I try to challenge patriarchal structures because they are fatal and they're affecting our societies and the families. And patriarchal structures is everywhere. And I work both in the secular sphere with the Exit Circle and in the private sphere. I'm also working on a new book about psychological violence and emotional abuse and the cognitive psychotherapy, because we use the cognitive method in order to challenge emotional abuse. And also I have a last thing. Next year we are planning a conference in the Maria Mosque where we are going to invite all the existing female imams in the world, from China to US, Canada, Germany, etc., UK. And I have developed 9 theses of Muslim reform based on Islamic principles of justice. So the aim is to gather all these great women and also leading Muslim scholars and try to find ways to standardize some of these 9 theses of reform. And the 9 theses of reform are women's right to serve as female imams, Muslim women's right to divorce. They don't have this basic right today to Islamic divorce. Muslim women's right to interfaith marriage, a fight against the growing anti-Islamic rhetoric and propaganda, as well as anti-Semitism, a rereading of the Quran with a focus on gender equality, promoting Sufism and Islamic pluralism, fighting the discrimination against minorities, including homosexuals, and fighting female genital mutilation, which exists within other religions. Also Christians are exposed to this horrific treatment. And so these are the theses that I would like to present.